Hello again. UltimatDJz here from Talking Track, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast, here to talk to you guys about Mud 2.0. Is he worth being in the leaderboard auctions, and what could he be used for? What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to our latest video. Please, before we get started, subscribe to the channel, like this video, I guess if you do like it, and ask your questions and comments below. We're going to check those and respond. Now, as you can see from this slide here, Harcourt Fenton Mud, called by many names in this game, Mud 2.0, Prime Mud, Fat Mud, New Mud, Rains Wilson Mud. It's still a complete mystery to us. We don't know what he's actually doing here. His information screen tells us that he's not from our universe and that he arrived here through a complicated series of mycelial networks. His appearance still has not yet been explained in the game via the missions, at least yet. They are going to be available later in the battle pass, it appears. But he is being offered as a part of the leaderboard officer auctions right now. Well, actually, one just ended. And I would imagine that we're going to see him again. Now, in the last podcast, we were discussing a lot of the new MUD's crew or MUD's company officers. The fact that they all seem to have extremely low proc rates or the proc rate, meaning a rate in which they activate. The question came about, since their proc rates are so low, is it even worth chasing MUD 2.0 in these auction events? So, as I'm trolling along in the official Discord, scrolling is what I meant to say, not trolling. I don't troll. Scrolling along, I ran across this comment. Shout out Rex Mode and BH Snipes. Said, hey, what about a little bit of RNG luck and try Pike, Harrison, and Mud 2.0? Pike, Harrison, Mud 2.0 would be hilarious on a Sally or any G4 ship that fires a ton in the first round. And I thought to myself, that would be a really interesting thing to try out. Now, most of you guys know who follow the podcast, I don't have Harrison. I missed on the opportunity to get him when he was first introduced because I traded him for uncommon 3-star Crystal. Best decision ever. However, my executive producer, Snake Eyes, does have him. Snake Eyes, sorry. Executive producer, Snake Eyes, does have Harrison, so we decided we would test out this new crew combination. So, Snake Eyes loaded up his 1.2 million Gladius and set to work on getting us some data. And he decided to test it not in PvP, not in the hostile grind, but on yellow mission bosses. This has been a pain point for him. As you can see here, this boss is 2.1 million in strength and has a boss that Snake Eyes has attempted to defeat with various crews, including Morale and Khan, Burning, Hull Breach Roulette, and failed every single time. So let's try a new combination. Now let's try the suggested crew, Snipes, thank you, Pike, Harrison, Mud 2.0. As you can see from these screenshots, attempt 1 was a failure. We still have, at tier 1, guys, we got a pretty low proc rate. All right, even with Pike boosting the 20% natural chance to proc, it's still only a 40% chance to proc. So we got 4 out of 10 odds that he is going to activate, and clearly he did not in this one. So we try again. Again, round 2, failure. Mud 2.0 did not proc. However, take a look here. Now, I want you to, before we move to this next slide, take a look at the amount of shield and hull damage that we were getting on the yellow boss. Okay? We were taking out, that looks like roughly about half. Take a look at this one. Round 3, or attempt number 3. Success! Mud 2.0 procced to give his officer ability of doubling the shots of all weapons in the first round. What did this do on a kinetic heavy round 1 heavy interceptor? Let's examine the battle logs here. In this first screenshot, let's just take a look at the very first shot. The Gladius dealt 157,524 damage against the yellow hostile boss. Now you can see on the first line there that it's mitigating 104,401 damage, which is correct. That means that Snake Eyes' mitigation is about 66.28%. That's pretty daggone good. But that means that there's 53,123 damage remaining. Now, normally, we know that the shield and hull are an 80-20 split. So, normally, you would have 42,498 going to the shield and 10,625 going to the hull. However, he's got Harrison, who now his base ability is 60%, but because of Pike, is now ignoring 80% of the shield in only round 1 because of Pike in the captain's seat. So you can see there 6,800 went to shield health, 46,323 went to hull. Well, that doesn't exactly add up. If you take a look at it, 6,800 as a percentage is 12.8% to shield, and the 46,323 is 87.2% to hull. That doesn't exactly make sense, except this is Scopely math. The reverse formulas apply, guys. Just like we've done the cost efficiencies before, all right? The formulas are a little bit backwards of what we think. So it's not ignoring 80% of the shield in, making 80% of the shield go away, so it would be all hull. It's actually dropping. So your net results in this case are 12.8 to 87.2% to the hull. Here's how we get there. The normal shield balance, again, just to remind you, is 80-20. But if Harrison is going to ignore 80% of the 80% split, then we're going to take the 80% that's normally there on the shield and we're going to reduce it by 80%. 80% of the 80% split is 64%. That's 64% reduction of shield damage, and that's going to be added to hull damage. So what are we actually keeping on the shield? 20% of 80%, which is 16%. That's how much damage is actually going to be applied to the shield. We take 16% of what it would normally be, again, going back to the 42,498, and that equals 6,800. Perfect math. Now, I'm going to take this difference of 6,800 from 42,498, which is the effect of Harrison, and that result is 35,698. I'm going to take that and I'm going to add it to what the original hull damage was supposed to be, which was 10,625, and voila, Scopely math revealed, folks. I get 46,323 damage directly to the hull. Now, that was one shot. Do that 5 more times, 6 times in round 1 with a Gladius, because of Mud 2.0's officer ability that doubles the shots in the first round. On a Gladius that normally gets 2 kinetics and 1 energy in the first round, Mud 2.0 doubles that up, giving you 4 kinetics and 2 energy in the first round. If you're using him on a Saladin, you're going to get 4 total shots, including your big gun. Using him on the Black Jellyfish could get you 14 shots. And the emphasis continues to rise with the power and the firing pattern of your ship. Again, going back to benefiting a damage-heavy, early round 1 heavy interceptor. Round 2 of 3. Now, you're not getting these same benefits in round 2, but you did so much hull damage in round 1 that the battle with a yellow hostile boss, a 2 million boss, only went 3 rounds with Pike, Harrison, and Mud 2.0. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our conclusion. We've been looking for officers. We've been looking for combinations. We've been looking for ways to justify the expense or the cost and the acquisition of these new officers. There was an auction that just wrapped up for Mud 2.0, and we even talked about on the podcast. It was our opinion that Mud 2.0 could be great in PvP. Well, I'm here to tell you, boom. Harrison, combined with Mud 2.0, just got OP again. Use Pike to boost them both, and now Pike has real PvP abilities. And again, this isn't a one-time occurrence. Again and again, if Mud 2.0 is able to proc, the damage is incredible. Our takeaway is this: Mud 2.0, is he worth getting? Absolutely, especially since his chance to activate, his chance to proc, goes up with each tier. At tier 2 or 3, his activation chance could even be high enough that you'd want to run a combat officer in place of Pike, but if you do that, you're losing the boost to Harrison from Pike. So Pike may actually be a winner here. A great PvP combination could be Pike, Mud 2.0, and Harrison. Now, some of you say, I don't have Harrison. Well, Let's start this conversation back up again, Scopely. Can Harrison be reintroduced into the game? This officer combination suggests that it's possible. Now, I know a bunch of people out there are going to say, well, we don't have Harrison. We missed Harrison. We don't have him, or we joined the game after Harrison was pulled from the game. So, for the 90% of you out there who don't have Harrison, what is an alternative crew? Well, let's turn our attention to one of the new officers introduced, Roe Mudd. At Tier 2, Roe has a 30% chance of increasing the total damage dealt by 300% of the total attack. Now, the 300% is fixed. That's never going to change. The value that changes as she is tiered up is her actual proc rate. So if you've got a 30% chance at Tier 2 on Roe Mudd, and then you take that and add 20% from Pike, now you've got a 50% chance to proc, and if she does, then she's going to add 300% of the total base attack on the ship. So then you might want to stack your lower deck to focus on attack. Mudd 2.0 is heavy attack, so that plays in. Roe is heavy attack, so that works. Pike is decent in the attack, but again, we're going for his ability to just boost the proc rate and also boost the chances that Mudd 2.0 has to proc and throw those extra shots. Another suggestion was possibly Admiral Marcus, but being that he's not a heavy attack focused officer, maybe a tertiary option there. I think one thing is very, very clear here, and that's that Mudd 2.0 and these new officers are kind of a gamble. They are not fixed. They are not 100%. Because of these proc rates, you're either going to deal massive amounts of damage and win, or nothing happens, and you probably get your tail kicked. These officers are a gamble, and it's actually kind of consistent with what we saw with the release of the new augment officers here a month ago with Pan and the critical hit chances. They're either going to fire and be great, or nothing happens. These last two sets of officer releases have been kind of based around chance and a gamble. Is the potential payoff worth running these officers? You'll have to decide that for yourself. What other options do you think could go well with Mudd 2.0? Let's have a conversation, community. Leave your comments in the section below underneath the video. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. We are still in our race to 1,000 subscribers. And of course, please share this with all of your team and let's get it out there as people are beginning to look for value in these new officers. My name is UltimatDJz. Special thanks to our executive producer, Snake Eyes, and to you, community, for allowing us to make the content for you. Be sure to check out Talking Treks podcast every Wednesday and Sunday evening. And until then, we will bid you adieu. Take care.